You save their contact as X with two broken heart emojis. You check their last scene, 3 days ago, and for a second you feel this pull, this urge to just send something, anything. Hey, just opening the chat and closing it. You've done it 20 times this week and you know it. And here's what nobody tells you about that moment. That pull you feel, that ache in your chest that makes you want to reach out is not love. It is not you missing them. It is your brain in withdrawal. See, when you're in a relationship, your brain gets flooded with dopamine, the same chemical that lights up when someone does cocaine, the same reward pathway. And when that relationship ends, your brain doesn't just feel sad, it literally goes cold turkey. Neuroscientists have scanned the brains of people going through breakups and found that the regions that activate are the same ones that activate in drug addicts craving their next hit. So when you're stalking their Instagram at 2 a.m., you're not weak, your brain is chemically dependent. But here is where it gets interesting and where most people go wrong. Most guys after a breakup do one of two things. Either they beg and spiral, or they pretend they don't care and bottle everything up. Neither of those is moving on like a king. Both of those, if you really break them down, come from the same place, a place of low self-respect. One is too obvious about it, the other is just hiding it better. Moving on like a king is something completely different, and it starts with understanding one thing. The moment she stopped choosing you, the competition was over, and you were not eliminated. The game just stopped being worth playing. Think about it like this. Imagine you're at a poker table. You've been playing a hand for months, invested a lot of chips, a lot of time, and then you realize the game is rigged. What does a smart player do? He doesn't flip the table, he doesn't sit there pretending everything is fine either. He picks up what chips he has left, stands up and walks out, calmly, because his self-respect is worth more than any pot on that table. That's the energy. That's the shift. Now let's talk about what that actually looks like in real life, because this is where the video gets practical. Step 1. No contact is not a strategy to get them back. It is a strategy to get yourself back. This is the one most people misunderstand. They go no contact thinking it'll make their ex miss them. Maybe it will. Doesn't matter. That is not the point. The point is that every time you check their profile, every time you watch their story, you are re-triggering your brain's withdrawal loop. Scientists call it intermittent reinforcement. It is the same psychological mechanism that makes gambling addictive. The random chance of a response, a seen message, a story view keeps you hooked. Your brain releases a small hit of dopamine every time you look, hoping for a reward. And when there's nothing there, the crash hits harder. Blocking is not petty. Blocking is a medical decision. You are removing the trigger so your brain can actually rewire itself. Step 2. Your identity has to stop being someone who got broken up with. Here is the psychology behind this that nobody talks about. After a breakup, your brain literally starts to reorganize your sense of self. Because in a relationship, your identity gets fused with another person. Their habits become your habits. Their future becomes your future. And when it ends, the brain experiences what psychologists call identity disruption. You don't just lose a person, you lose a version of yourself. This is why the most dangerous thing you can do after a breakup is sit still. Because in that silence, your brain will try to rebuild your identity around them, around the grief, around what went wrong. You rebuild your identity by doing. Start that thing you kept putting off, the gym, the skill, the project, not to distract yourself, but to answer a very important question your brain is asking right now, which is, who am I without this person? You answer that question with action, not with reflection. Step 3. Self-respect is a practice, not a feeling. Most people wait to feel confident before they act confident. That is backwards. Self-respect is built through the small choices you make when no one is watching. It's choosing not to send that text at midnight. It's choosing to go to the gym even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing not to trash talk them to mutual friends. Every one of those choices is a deposit into your own dignity account. The Stoics had a concept called the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius wrote about it. The idea is that your core, your character, your self-respect is a fortress that no one can touch unless you open the gate yourself. And every time you spiral over someone who chose to leave, you open the gate. Every time you choose to focus on yourself instead, you strengthen the wall. Step 4. The silence is your power move,
not theirs. Here's something counterintuitive. The person who speaks less after a breakup usually holds more power, not because power is the goal, but because it is a signal of emotional maturity. When you are loudly bitter, when you are posting sad quotes, when you are seeking validation from mutual friends, what you are really broadcasting is, "I am still affected." And there is nothing wrong with being affected. That's human. But showing it publicly is giving away your peace for free. The most intimidating thing you can do is disappear into your own growth. No announcement, no explanations, no sad posts, just silence and results. Let time do the talking. Step 5. Grief is not weakness, suppressing it is. This one is for the guys who were told to man up, who were taught that pain is something to push down. Here is what science actually says. Suppressed emotional pain doesn't disappear. It gets stored in the body. It resurfaces as anxiety, as anger, as emotional shutdown in the next relationship. Research in trauma psychology consistently shows that the people who recover fastest from breakups are not the ones who avoid the pain. They are the ones who feel it fully, process it, and then release it. Cry if you need to. Journal. Talk to someone you trust. Feel it all the way through. Then put it down. Grief is not a sign that you loved wrong. It is a sign that you were capable of loving something real. That is not something to be ashamed of. Now, here is the part of this video that matters most. Moving on like a king is not about acting unbothered. It is about becoming genuinely unbothered. And that only happens when you start treating yourself the way you wanted them to treat you, with loyalty, with patience, with respect. The version of you on the other side of this, the one who does the work, the one who doesn't beg, the one who goes quiet and comes back different, that version is not going to be missing anyone. That version is going to be building something so consuming, so purposeful, that looking back feels like checking someone else's memories. She saw your last message 3 days ago. Let her see your progress 3 years from now. You don't need closure, you need momentum. Get up, get to work. The best revenge is an extraordinary life, and extraordinary lives are built by people who chose themselves when no one else did. If this hit different, subscribe, because this channel exists for people who are done settling and serious about becoming the best version of themselves, one video at a time.